The iPhone camera comes in fourth, Apple puts a budget on future films, and popcorn as a business model. This is MacVoices. Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter that keeps you up with everything MacVoices is doing. From our published episodes to Chuck's other appearances to special events and more, subscribe at macvoices.com/newsletter and stay fully informed so you don't miss a thing. Did you all know that the iPhone 16 Pro Max has the fourth best camera in the world?
I did not
thought
know
something
that.
about that, but I didn't understand.
Did after reading the article?
Yeah. Well, I thought this was interesting. According to testing by DXoMark, I guess that's the way you pronounce it, the iPhone 16 Pro has scored 157 points overall, behind the Huawei Pura 70 Ultra 163, the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL 158, and something called the Honor Magic 6 Pro. I have no idea what that is, at 158. So that seems to be a pretty tight race given everything else that the iPhone 16 Pro can do. But I'm kind of curious to see what your thinking is. Is fourth place, does it really matter?
When it's that tight of a when it's that tight of a race, it kind of feels like, can you really tell the difference between the cameras if it's a 1 point or 2 point difference? I found a interesting piece was in this article, the iPhone 16 Pro Max achieved 159, the top score for video. So the idea of being able to do the 4K 120 foot per second and all the different modes that are available in there, but 159 compared to who was running second on that and what was their score.
Yeah, again, let's see. The Huawei Pura 70 Ultra was 163, the Google Pixel Pro 9 Pro XL 158, and the Honor Magic 6 Pro 158. So, yeah, it just it doesn't strike me as a huge difference. And I'd love to have a whole lot of details on this. And I need to go back and look at the testing. But I'm with you. I think it's well said. Is it good enough? And this goes to something that I seem to be always asking. Is anybody looking at the whole package? Or if you're just looking at the camera, yes, I want the best camera I can get. But if that's the case, then I'll get a Blackmagic DSLR or Blackmagic camera of some kind. But if I want the best camera that is engaged or engages me in so many other ways, like the phone does, then I'm not sure it matters. And I'm certainly not going to go to a Pixel 9 Pro. And Huawei, what can you say about Huawei?
Can't buy it here.
Well, not just that, but how about the other aspects of it, Dave? Yeah. That you have to wonder. Yep. So, Brian?
Yeah, I just think along those same lines. Besides the actual photograph or the video that's taken, then it's like, well, then what are you going to do with it? You have the editing tools, sharing it with other people. Everything from those adding stickers to things and all that kind of stuff that brings in like the ecosystem besides just the photograph itself or the video. So I think those are important things to consider as well.
Agreed. Eric?
Yeah, if you're trying to do spatial stills or spatial video, the iPhone 16 Pro is the best choice out there. I'm not sure you have a whole lot of other options.
It probably would have helped if I had actually read the article. And I'm not going to let that stop me. So I'm looking at the article about how they do their tests, and what I'm reading through here is that this isn't just about hardware. They're taking into account the software that ships on the phone for taking photographs. So it's possible Apple could improve their score in this particular set of tests with software improvements. But yeah, it's one of those things. Eric, you're absolutely right. It comes down to use case, and it doesn't matter if it's the number 1 camera, the number 10 camera on the list. If it's the camera that does the thing you need it to do, that makes it the best camera.
Absolutely.
Okay. That'll be the last word on that. Nicely done, Jeff. Nicely done.
I haven't even read the article.
So the next one is the one that Jim Ray has been waiting patiently for us to get to. Oprah buys back the rights to her documentary from Apple TV Plus. Jim, what are your thoughts?
Well, as I said on the Slack, I wasn't at all interested in watching this, but now that I can't, I desperately want to.
Okay. That's it. That's what it takes to get you interested, is say you can't do it, and then you want to do it.
Exactly. Actually, you know what? I probably still don't want to. Now that you're putting me on the spot. Next topic.
Well, Charlotte Henry and I did this on a recent episode of TV Plus Talk. We covered this, but what intrigued me the most about this, she didn't just buy back the rights. Basically, she bought back a film that had already been completed. And the director, she wanted apparently some things changed, and the director didn't want to, and so she just said, "Okay, I'll just buy the whole thing back." So I guess everybody got. I mean, Apple certainly didn't take a bath on this, so I would assume the director and everybody associated with it got paid. So it just, there had to be a fair amount of money out of her pocket to cover all that, along with getting the rights back.
What else is she going to do with their money?
I'm surprised that they were open to it, because they did invest a lot of time into it. But if they financially were compensated for what they put into it, I guess you can't complain.
This was a dinner conversation because I was going over this stuff during dinner with my wife. And you ever get in one of those conversations where you say something and you realize this is not going to turn out well if we continue this conversation? And so after my wife had her piece to say about it, my response was, "Yes, you're right, dear." You got money. You can buy your problems. You can control your message. There's a lot of things that playing in that playground is way out of my league. And you can manage your branding the way you want to manage your branding. So more power to her. Well, no, she has no power.
Well, so I can't help but ask, what was your wife's take on this? I mean,
she was like,
she was right.
People should be able to control what people say about them.
True.
Has your wife turned on TV recently?
Yeah, she does. But again, yes, dear, you're correct.
Okay.
I'm looking at the source article for this, and there's no confirmation this has actually happened. I mean, yes, it's very likely that this has happened. However, it's a page 6 story, and no confirmed sources. It's just a well-placed Hollywood source.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeff, I respect that, because that's what Charlotte and I were talking
you know
about.
what? I just totally missed seeing a whole chunk of this that was covered by a pop-up. Frickin' pop-ups. Never mind. Oprah Winfrey's own people confirmed that, yep, it's been bought back, and she bought back the rights, and that's the end of it. Yeah, so I should just shut up.
No. I mean, look, it's a fair question, because we've had those things come up before. That somebody reports something as fact and it's not. Charlotte Henry and I had talked about this. That it's at first it's page 6, and you think, oh, okay, well, maybe, but then they confirm it. So I don't know. It also felt like it signals an end to any partnership that Oprah had with Apple TV Plus, which is really kind of strange, because that was a big thing when the channel first, or the service first launched, and Oprah never seemed to find her footing there. And I'm not quite sure why, if it's just it wasn't a fit for what they were trying to do. But I don't recall any like super compelling content coming out of Oprah that pushed people hard toward Apple TV Plus. And if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me, because I'm not an Oprah fan, so I wouldn't pay attention anyway.
Wasn't it a couple of years ago when she when her deal with Apple ended anyhow?
Yeah,
I think officially, yeah. But again, nothing ever really came of it. So I don't know. So Brian brought this in, and I thought this fit in well with the Oprah story in some ways. That something we've been hearing about, that Apple has basically put $100 million budget on future movie projects, give or take, that they're not going to throw these incredibly large numbers that were thrown at Killers of the Flower Moon or Napoleon or some of the other ones. Do we really need to spend more than $100 million to make a movie, Brian?
Yeah, this article, I thought it was kind of interesting. Originally, it came to me from because a newsletter called Charter, and it has a nice little. They specialize in some infographic information, but the article that surrounded it was pretty interesting, talking about how much money each of these movies made in comparison to the total budget. And when you think about the trying to get them into the movie theater, I think they were trying to, I guess, for the requirements in order to be eligible for some Academy Award nominations, I think was a major driver. But deciding whether or not that was cost effective for them is primarily what they're looking at. I remember they mentioned Coda there in best picture in 2022, but other than that, it's not necessarily as successful.
I don't know. I look at the, and they're not going to do theatrical releases, or at least that's going to get modified. And I would think that'll get modified to some degree because of the requirements for some of the award shows. But from an Apple TV Plus perspective, is not having theatrical releases a big deal? And would focusing on better budgeted movies, is that a good thing? Or do we still need these incredibly expensive blockbusters that don't feature, let's see, how shall I say this? I guess science fiction or super advanced special effects. Of course, now everything seems to be special effects, even if it's not science fiction. So I don't know.
I think it's definitely a changing landscape of how people take in their entertainment. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just interested in this panel. You know, how many of us have gone to the movie theater in the last maybe 6 months? I haven't. I mean, I don't know. Others, I enjoy the living room setting. You know, but maybe it's a change in society a little bit too.
Fair point. So who's gone to the movie theater in the last 6 months?
Not me.
Whoa, Eric, Marty. Eric.
Popcorn.
Wolverine and Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I am champing at the bit to see Wolverine and Deadpool.
Ms. Marvel. Twice.
Loved Miss Marvel. I haven't been to a theater since before the lockdown.
Right, same here.
And I don't see myself going back into a theater anytime soon because the risk of getting COVID isn't worth going to see a movie. And so I just impatiently wait for movies to come to streaming services, and then I watch them. So maybe Disney, since we know that that paid paid streaming for Deadpool and Wolverine is happening in a few days. Maybe it just started today. I can't remember. Maybe Disney will give us streaming on Disney Plus by the end of the month. But my point is that no, I haven't been in a theater since before the lockdown. I don't see that changing, and I have a feeling a lot of people are in the same boat, and maybe not for the same reasons that I've made that choice. I mean, it sure is convenient and comfortable to sit on your own couch and watch a movie. And
there's plenty of great content available.
There's plenty of great content available. And Brian hit on an important point, which is that viewing habits have been changing. And I think that the awards ultimately are going to have to change their criteria to fit with the movie viewing audiences. Although we're still seeing the hard push to make people go to theaters. Like, here's this amazing movie, only available in theaters. And I don't think Apple has to play in that game to have high quality movies. I don't think any of the streaming services have to play in that game to have high quality movies.
Marty?
Yeah, I've never seen Apple TV, and this is my personal way in which I consume content. I don't see Apple TV as a long form movie content provider. When I watch movies, I do watch them when I'm traveling or I'm on a plane, but I turn to Apple TV more for episodic kinds of shows, which in the long run probably is more expensive, but in the short run, you can make decisions whether you're going to go to season 2 with a show or with content in that way, instead of doing a multi-million-dollar movie hoping that someone will give you an Academy Award. So for me, it just, the device itself, the platform itself works well for episodes of series that we've all talked about on this program before. And an occasional movie for me is sometimes in the theater, depending on the release, not in a crowded theater. My son and I will go together on like an early Sunday morning and see it after a couple of weeks since it's been out. But often it's on a flight, on a plane. And I'm looking through my Vision Pro, or prior to that, I watched them on an iPad. So
I want to drag the chat room in here for a second. Let's see how it is. Barry says, we've only been to the movie theater once since before the pandemic for Dune 2. Webb Bixby, who couldn't be with us here tonight, is in the chat room, and he said, if Apple wants DiCaprio and Jennifer Aniston, it will cost them $100 million. Okay, but do we need DiCaprio and Jennifer Aniston is another question for a movie. Let's see. Eric Woods says, and I'm right there with you, Eric, other people are annoying, especially in the age of smartphones. Yeah, there is a lot to be said for sitting at home on the sofa where nobody around me is going to be talking or playing with their phone in what's supposed to be a very dark theater. So, a lot of interesting, let's see. And Cletus, Cletus says, who doesn't have a big TV and a stereo system and a nice big comfy chair? Yeah, fair point, Cletus.
Very true.
Eric and Brian here, Eric Bolden and Brian were having a discussion in our chat about access. And so Brian, you have a $30 a year pass?
Yeah, the discussion came up about how, what great reason to still go to the movie theater is delicious movie popcorn. It's delicious. And so I was just mentioning there's a regional theater, and they offer a popcorn perk pass for $30 a year. You get I thought it was 40. It's actually, I guess, 36 popcorns a year, max of one per day. But you just go into the theater, and you don't necessarily have to purchase, you don't have to have a movie ticket, to go watch a movie. Just go in the concession area, get your popcorn, and walk out. But you can. It's great. It's easy to split up amongst family. It's delicious.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I really like it because first of all, it puts you in the popcorn business, but also it is, if you knew that you were going to be able to get popcorn automatically or at a severely discounted price, maybe I would be pulled back into the theater.
Well, and
a little.
My understanding about theater economics is that they don't make very much money off of the movies itself. It's the surroundings, set on the refreshments, the candy and popcorn and soda and things of that nature. So they can still get that foot traffic, bring people around. Yeah. I noticed this particular theater, they have a merchandise area, and they sell tons of scarves and blankets and things like that too. So yeah, good for them to diversify. Yeah.
The nearest Harkins theater to me is 18 miles. It's a little far to drive for popcorn.
Probably 18 miles, probably
still
3 hours in your world.
Well, there's actually, right now it's saying 31 minutes. That's 6 p.m.
Well, if the popcorn is good enough, I just made a trip to Chicago, and Garrett's popcorn was seriously tempting.
Paraphrasing Harrison Ford, no popcorn is worth this.
I am flying. I deliberately routed myself through Chicago on the way to St. Louis for the purpose of being able to stop at Garrett's in the airport.
Okay, so maybe these popcorn people are onto something. I don't know. I like it. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.